Hi, everybody. This is CS Professor Pam with Pam Tech Coding, and I'm here to bring you another bite of React, a bite-sized lesson to help you understand more about programming with React. And I empower people to transition into coding careers using my YouTube channel, my Discord community, and individualized project-based consulting. All right, let's talk about a very important concept in React, which is map. And again, what I like to do in these videos is give you sort of these bite-sized chunks to help you understand the concepts. And later on, we'll start putting these things together to build more complete projects. All right, what do we have right now? I'm still kind of working in my sandbox. And the last lesson that we did was about state, and I used this component called counter, but I am going to comment that out right now because I want to go back to what we were doing previously when we created a component called hello, and we were able to render multiple instances of that. So I have my app running over here. And this is what we see, right? We're basically creating two of these hello components, and this component is being passed data in something called a prop. And inside of that component, we catch those props, and then we can render that data. All right, but we're going to do, first of all, just a simple little something to understand what map is. Again, it's a very important concept. It is actually a JavaScript function. It's not specifically React. If I go over here to look it up, the map is a method that you can run on arrays. And what it does, it creates a new array by calling a function for every element in that particular array. So let me go over here to my little slides. It basically allows you to run a function on each item in the array. You know, when you walk through every element of an array, typically we think about using a for loop. So this is just kind of very shortcut, concise syntax to do something similar to what you can do in a for loop. But this one specifically returns an array where you are processing or doing something to every element of that array. So for example, if I have an array here, and I can actually just go run this over in the console, I want you guys to understand that sometimes when you want to go try something out, you can literally just go over here to the console and you can type JavaScript in here. So if I were to create this array, const nums equals 1, 2, 3, right? And if I then print out to say, what is nums? We can see that we've created that array. All right. If I do this statement, let me just copy it over here and then let's talk about what it's doing. So what is this doing? So on the right side of this assignment statement, I am running the map function from this array called nums. Remember, map returns an array. So that's why on the left side, I'm creating a place to catch the answer. Map takes a function as a parameter. That function needs a parameter to walk through each element of the array. You can give this parameter whatever name you want. Sometimes I use something that's very descriptive. In this case, if the array is called nums, each individual thing is like a single num. So that's why I'm using that. Actually, let me make it a little simpler. Let's just call it n. So what I'm saying is walk through each element of this array. The first time through, n is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So that is what I am returning as the value for the first element of evens. Then the next time through, n is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. That's going to be the answer, so to speak, for 2. And then the next time is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, right? So if I now print out what's in evens, you can see that I have created an array that has the values 2, 4, 6. All right, now in terms of React, where this is really useful is when we are generating, kind of dynamically generating content down in JSX. So suppose I want to create 3 P tags, but I don't necessarily want to hard code the colors that are going to be in them. Let me actually kind of just do this over here so we can take a look at it. We're just going to do it in app. Right, so I'm going to create an array, colors, and I'm going to put some different colors in here. Let's say it's going to be pink, green, and purple, right? And I want to generate a P tag for each one of these things. So down here, I'm going to comment these out for right now because we're not looking at that. And when I'm commenting that out, I'm grabbing all that and I'm just doing command slash, or if you're on a PC, control slash to comment it out. You might wonder why the curly brackets are outside of this comment notation. Well, remember, this comment notation is JavaScript comment notation. And anything that's JavaScript, remember, has to be in curly brackets. And so keeping that in mind, I'm going into this div and I'm going to use the map function, which is JavaScript. So I have to start with a set of curly brackets, right? It's one of the main things you're going to forget to do in the beginning. So I'm going to do colors.map, and you can use a very specific parameter, but usually I just use the parameter item. Item is going to represent one by one each element of this array. And what do I want to return or create based on item? I want to create a P tag. And what data do I want inside of that P tag? I want the value of this parameter called item, right? The first time through, item is pink, and that's what I want to see is a P tag with pink in it. The next time through, item is green. And so because that is JavaScript, the parameter item, it has to go in curly brackets, right? And let's see what we have over here now. So you see what we did? We actually have 3 P tags. And if I go over here to elements, I can actually see the HTML that was generated, right? There are the 3 P tags that were generated by mapping this data. And if I were to go in here and add another color in here, then now you can see the data has changed. So map is really, really useful. Now, I will also show you, there's a warning message over here because when you do a map, React wants each child that is returned to have a unique key. And I don't want to get too deeply into keys right now, but for the moment, what I can do to give this a key, since each one of these colors are unique, I can put item as the key. And you will see that I don't have an error message over here anymore. If I wanted to use the index, because each one of these has a unique index in this array, right? Position, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, then your map function always has to have at least one parameter, but it can optionally have a second parameter, which is the index or the position of that value in the array. And if I put index here, and how about we'll even put it here so you can see it. I'll put in front of here index. Right, so index is 0, item is pink. Index is 1, item is green, right? So that's what map does. All right, but this is kind of a boring map. So let's get rid of this. I'll just comment it out. I want to come back to my, my hello. All right. And let's say that we're going to make an array called users. And I'm going to put names in here. Right? So instead of hard coding what's going on here, let's try to map this, map each element of this into one of these hello tags, right? So we do users.map. I need a parameter for this function. I'm just going to call it item. For each item, I want to generate a hello tag, right? And it needs a property, which is the name. And I'm going to say that the name is item. Now, I know it's supposed to have a color as well. Hold on. We're going to get to that. But let's just see what happens when we do this, right? So look at what happened. I generated 3 of these hello tags because there are 3 values in this array. And the value here, as we walk through, item was Pam, Pam got passed into name. Item was Joe, Joe got passed into name, right? Now you say, well, what happened to the color? They don't have a color, right? That's true because I don't have any specific data. Let's give everybody the same favorite color, maybe. If I say color equals red, then, right, you see that they all have the same color. Now, let's go take a look at our data. Remember, we can look at the props in our component. So this one has a name of Pam, color is red. This one has name Joe, color is red. This one has name Sam, color is red, right? But probably everybody has a different color. So in that case, what my data needs to be is an array of objects. So I'm going to change up this data. And by the way, where is this data typically going to come from? It's typically going to come from an API, but we're not there yet. So we're just trying to learn these things with static data right now. So I am going to change this to, first of all, to an array of objects. Wait, let me actually make this up. And so each object is going to have a name, right? Then here is the second object. Remember, the curly brackets are object syntax in JavaScript. So the name is there. Here's the last one, right? And let's say that each object has a color, right? So everybody can now have their own individual favorite color. All right. So again, element 0, or the first element of this users array, is this object that has 2 things associated with it. The second element is this object, right? So I want to leave this so you can see the difference. So now, instead of, I'm going to have to change a couple things. I am going to give this hello prop, this hello component, instead of 2 separate props, I am going to give it one single prop that I'm going to call user, right? And I want to pass this entire thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do one more thing. We're going to give everybody an ID, because usually when you do this, everybody has a unique ID in the object. So I'm just going to put these in. Again, normally this data is going to come from an API. And so I am passing item, right? As I walk through it and map users the first time through, item is this entire object. And I am passing that entire object into a prop called user. Now, that means I have to change up my hello component a little bit, because now, instead of it receiving two separate props of name and color, I am going to change it to receive one single prop called user. And just by the way, it's upset because we're not finished yet. Okay, we have to make a few changes. So, and let's just comment this out for a second, just so we can see what's going on now. All right. So look at what's in each instance now. This hello has a prop called user that has these three things in it. So if I want the name, that would be user.name. If I want the color, that would be user.color, right? Same thing here. So the data is being passed, all the data is being passed in a single object. So we need to change up what we have over here. And this is going to be user.name. You see now it's happy. And user.color. And there we go. Everything is working now, right? And if I wanted to pass some additional data about a user over there, let's say we know what city they live in, okay? So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pass some additional data. City, this is Houston. This is city, San Francisco. And this is city, New York City. Okay. Nothing changes here. There's now some additional data that is being passed, right? If I go look again in my hello component, I will see that I now also have something called city in here. So in this component, I'll put location, and this is going to be what? User.city. Right? So you can see this is how you make components that are reusable. This is how you pass a number of different pieces of data. One more thing before we just kind of finish this. There is, if I go over here, again, that, let's refresh this so we see what it is. Right? It's saying every child should have a unique key property, and I created an ID. So I'm going to go over here, and here inside of this hello component, I'm going to say key equals, and to get to that, it will be item.id. Remember, item is this whole object. So if I want the ID, it's item.id. And so now you'll see everybody's happy in the console. Okay. Let's just do one last kind of go back over everything that we did here. So here in app, I have my user data. And this user data is an array of objects. There are 3 objects in here. Let's just make one more so we can see that whatever data we have in here, we can easily add to it, right? Color green. ID is going to be 3. And city is going to be Chicago, right? So now I have 4 users. So I want to create a hello component for each one, and I'm passing it a prop called user. That component is going to show the data for one single user. So that's why user, notice this is users plural because it's an array, but this is a single one. And I'm passing item, and that prop has to get caught here. And now I can reference any of the data in there as user dot whatever I'm looking for. Okay. All right. So again, using map in this way is a really important concept to understand, and also understanding objects, JSON objects like this, and how to reference the individual components in an object. Those are 2 very important concepts to understand for building things in React. All right, so hopefully that is starting to be kind of interesting here. And we're going to continue to build on this. This is our bite for today, but we will continue to build more lessons. Please, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already subscribed to the channel. I invite you to join the Discord community. And please leave me comments about what you think about these lessons and what other topics you would like to see me cover. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next time.